Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sew in Common. I'm Diana. I'm so glad to have you with me today for Quilt Lab. Quilt Lab is my Sunday show where we talk about our block of the month, our Quilt Lab block of the month, and then we do different things with it throughout the month, or there may be a theme to that block that we carry throughout the month. But it's all done with my Build a Quilt system. And if you're new with us, Build a Quilt is how we make patchwork the 21st century way with the hoop of our embroidery machine. Now, why do it with your embroidery machine? Some of you might be asking. Well, if you're brand new to quilting and you've never done any other technique, you're going to love this technique if you have an embroidery machine. It's super fun, super easy. It takes away the need for being really precise with your cutting and your seaming and all of that, because everything gets built into your digital pattern, and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have a 1/4 inch foot for seaming things together on your sewing machine. You can just use a regular old foot with no problem, because there's a built-in guideline that you sew, so everything comes out with that perfect seam in the end. And if you're someone that has been quilting for a long time, like I have, over 55 years, I've been a quilter. And if you have problems like with your hands, or maybe your eyesight isn't as great anymore. I know mine isn't perfect anymore. And so having something that builds in the precision and that lack of repetitiveness, that so that you're not damaging your hands and your wrists, can be really helpful. Well, that's what piecing with your embroidery machine can do for you. Or there's another category of people that love the Build-A-Quilt system, and that are machine embroiderers. You guys have been machine embroiderers for a long time. You love it, and you love doing everything with your embroidery machine. Well, now you can do your quilting. Not just the piecing, but the finished quilting as well can be done with your embroidery machine. And really, most of the times, all you need is a 5x7 hoop. All of our regular monthly patterns and stuff, you only need a 5x7 hoop. Sometimes I give you an extended size so that if you have a larger hoop, you can do that, or you can make multiples in a hoop, that sort of thing. But a 5x7 is all you need to make the segments. Now, today's Quilt Lab is what I call, let's do some mix and match. Mixing and matching is something that you can do with Build a Quilt that you don't really think about with traditional quilting, because with traditional quilting, you get a very specific pattern, very specific cuts for each and every part of it, and that's for that block. But with the Build a Quilt system, you're creating segments, like a half square triangle, a 1/4 square triangle, maybe a block that has a flippy corner or a special angle to it. You're making those segments, and then you're putting those segments together to create the same block that you might see in a traditional quilt pattern. But in the end, you have those components, those segments, and then you can put those together in all kinds of order and fashion. Now, our Quilt Lab blocks come in 3 sizes each month. You get all 3 sizes in the pattern set, along with our coloring sheet and all the information, the how-to video, everything that you need to make that particular block in any of those 3 sizes. But what that's also giving you is all those segment pieces in those 3 sizes. So in a very short amount of time, you can build a huge library of component pieces to create just about any quilt that you want to create from a quilt pattern. So I am working on a series for us called, I've talked about it before, short term, but I'm working on a full series about quilts in translation, where we take a quilt pattern and that's made for traditional quilting, and we work all the way through how do we work that into the Build a Quilt system. So that's coming. Stay tuned for that. But it's really easy to do. And so sometimes our blocks go into the jumbo sizes, like 12 and 15-inch blocks. Sometimes they go down to 6, 8-inch blocks. And then there's that kind of a nice mid-size, that 10-inch block. And just recently, we did the Riley Blake Block Challenge. Now, Riley Blake doesn't know me. They don't know that I did this for all of you. And I would not have done it, except a bunch of you contacted me and said, could we do the Riley Blake Block Challenge with the Build a Quilt system? And so I looked it over, And I only got the blocks once a week like everybody else. I didn't get anything in advance. So I said, sure, as long as I can digitize and create the block for you, for the Build a Quilt system, I'll do it. And it was a completely free challenge because Riley Blake made their challenge. It's a way for them to promote their fabric lines and their designers and things like that. And so as long as I could create those for you, I did those for free. And so there were 16 blocks and then one set that did the sashing. During that challenge, you got a block a week. Well, all of those single patterns have now gone away, and I combined everything into one download for you. So it's the Riley Blake Block Challenge set. You get all 16 of the blocks and the sashing set as well. Those blocks were all 10 by 10. And so during May and now in June, I have made sure that our blocks for Quilt Lab had at least a 10 by 10 size in it so that you could have those to mix in. So now if you have the Riley Blake set, that's 16 blocks and their components. And you can see some of them right behind me. These are some of the blocks that we did from the Riley Blake Block Challenge. I'm still piecing together my final quilt, but I should have that done. Hopefully I'll have that done this week. I really want to finish it. So you get all of those that will work with a 10 by 10 block. And then in May, we had this beautiful blooming star block that I created. And it was all about putting things on point. As you can see, the center here is on point. And then we also did a whole project just by using these corners. We didn't use anything else from the pattern but these corner pieces, and we created a beautiful runner project called the Aurora. If you check that out, the how-to is available on the website, and all you need is that pattern set to do that. And this is 10 by 10. This month, we're doing these beautiful spinning Argyle diamonds. I love how this turned out. And again, as I told you last week when we introduced this pattern, it would be great if you did a whole quilt in this, say 60 by 60, maybe 60 by 70, and used it for a summer quilt, like a picnic quilt. Other tip, I want to give you a tip that I like to do when I make my picnic quilts. When I put my backing fabric on them, I don't use the nice cottons. I use one of two things. I just use a regular medium weight cotton muslin because it's going to be on the ground. Or the other thing I like to put on the back of them is a flannel. You're not going to have to worry about them being too warm or whatever because you're not going to be covering up with them probably. You're going to be putting your picnic out on them. But a flannel will wear really nicely on the back like that. And so I like to do those. And the flannel is always less expensive at the shops where I go. So it makes a nice backing alternative fabric. And it's still, if you get a good flannel, 100% cotton. So if you want to make sure that you're only using cotton, that works out for you as well. So this is the spinning Argyle diamond. And the spinning is because every time you put a 4 patch of these, like we see here together, you can see one starting here and here and here, you end up with a pinwheel. So overall, you're going to get this great with this Argyle in it and these pinwheels everywhere. So I love the pattern and I love how it turned out. So the 2 sets that you need for this week's block, which is I'm just calling it the Argyle Star, is you do need last month's set and you need this month's set. So each set where you get the three sizes in each is $7.95 a month. So you'll need 2 of these. You'll need this one and this one. If you're part of the Quilt Lab subscription service, you've already got these. So you're ready to go. You can get started right away. And I've made sure that there's enough of these in inventory so you all can go and get those too. And I'll show you how to get that at the end. And then this week's block is the Argyle Star. We all love those star blocks so much. Star blocks really are what draw a lot of people into quilting because they're such beautiful blocks. They have movement to them. Like you can see in this one, there's all this movement with the different shapes. You can see like this popping out of this piece within the next piece, and then the star points on the end. So it's really, really a great way to play around and make more stars by having this pattern and this pattern together. So at the end of this section of the video, I have done another video all about the layout for this, to show you just exactly what you need. And what you're going to do when you get your 2 pattern sets is you're going to be working to get this 10 by 10 inch block. So this gives you another 10 by 10 inch block. So now if you have the Riley Blake 16, 17, 18, you'll have 19 10 by 10 blocks. And boy, can you play with those to make your own quilt design, whatever you want to do with those 19 blocks. And also, I give you a little challenge in that little video clip that you're going to see at the end to see if you can figure out another way to combine these into another block. Doesn't have to be a star, could be anything. And then I tell you more about how you can get that information to me and what I'm going to do with it if you decide to go ahead and do the challenge, which I hope some of you do. So in our Argyle Diamond, and I'm sorry you keep hearing my phone messages going off. Let me just come in here and turn that down. Okay. Oh, just lots of people wanting to sell me stuff, I guess. Anyway, so it's really easy to create this Argyle diamond. And as long as you can do a 5 by 5 square in the center, you can use the triangles and these corners with the star points to make anything into a diamond. So if we turn around and we look back here, I think these individual stars in this block were 5 by, well, I know they were because it's a 10-inch block. They're 5 by 5. What if you put one of those 5 by 5s in here and had a star within a star? Ooh, maybe I'll do that for next week and we can talk about how that would work as well. Because anything that you could put in the center here, you can create a whole new star block, because these corners from the blooming star give you your star points, and the triangles from the blooming star give you these points to put the centerpiece on point and give you the points out here in your star. So I could have, on these 4 pieces, I could have done those in the same yellow that I did the star points on, and it would have been like a bigger, brighter yellow star with this in the center. But I really wanted this to pop out a little more, so I chose to use this mint color here instead. And that's all we really did, is we took one of our segments from our Spinning Argyle Diamonds and used it to replace the quarter square triangle that's right here in the blooming star. And it's so easy. Didn't it turn out great? Now I chose, originally I was looking at using 5 colors for this, because I was originally going to do all 4 of my squares there in the 4 patch. And these are made with our double squares, so you're only making 2 of them. I was going to do each one in a different color. That's what got me to that 5th color. So if you like that idea, give it a try, because it was cute. But then I went down a rabbit hole with colors and decided that the next morning when I was working on this, just to wipe the slate clean and start all over again. And what I did to help me start choosing my colors originally is I chose another card from the color cube that I told you all about last week. This one was number 205. So I believe this was from color cube 1 this time. And it had these beautiful colors. Magenta, ultraviolet, turquoise, mint, and light green. And what I love about them is over here, you get a light, medium, and dark variation of each one of those colors. So those 5 colors were originally the colors I was going to make this with. But I ended up really wanting to do my points in yellow, the idea of the yellow star, bright star. And I just, like I said, I really went down a rabbit hole on this one about where I was going to put these colors. And so I just wiped everything off my design board, went to bed that night. I had kind of stayed up late to do it, went to bed. And when I got up the next morning, I looked back at here and said, is there any colors on here? Because I had already chosen some fabrics that I really want to keep. And I really wanted to keep this minty green. And that's this color right here. This was just a little bit of, I mean, I like cut 2 4x4 squares, I think, or something like, or 2 4.5, something like that, to make these little mint triangles here in the Argyle section. So I didn't need that much. And then I needed some for my triangles here and my squares here. And the other color, you guys know always, if I can keep one of these turquoise or light aqua colors in my quilts, I do, because you guys know that's like, I'm crazy for that color. Like all the lighter, the better, even into kind of those haint blues and haint green colors that you see on top of the ceilings of porches in the South. I love those colors. The meaning is kind of interesting. If you know the meaning of the haint blues and all, you paint that under the ceiling of your porch and it helps keep the bad spirits away. That's what that story is about. Or at least that's how I learned it. But I love those colors. I've always loved those colors. The other color I really love is red. And these two colors together, red and that color, go beautifully together. Kind of represented a little bit here. These aren't reds, but they're kind of, you know, in that family of the corally reds. And so kind of like that. But so that's how I picked out this and this. And then there was nothing else on here that I, in the end, decided to keep. And I always love this color blue with the gold. And I thought, you know, it really will work in here if I put the gold in here and that blue in here as well. So that's how I ended up picking out my fabrics. Now I will, at the end, I will link, or down in the description, I will link the video for both of these so that you see them. Okay, so that you can watch those. And that's the color chart that I created when I was making mine up. You have the coloring sheet for this, and you have the coloring sheet for the blooming star. So what I would do is I would cut out one of these and smack it in onto a copy of your blooming star coloring sheet, and then you have the coloring sheet and you can work your colors that way. So you're just going to need your Build a Quilt pattern set. Now these are downloads. Of course, you can print them if you want, for your Spinning Argyle Diamond and for your Blooming Star. Okay, this one is 6x6, 8x8, and 10x10. And this one is also 6x6, 8x8, and 10x10. So technically, you could make this as a 6x6 block or an 8x8 block, but I made it in the 10x10 so that goes with all this other library of 10x10 pieces. And that's what I mean when I talk about mixing and matching. So last year we did a lot of 12 and 15-inch blocks. So you have all those segments that you can do the same kind of thing with. Mix and match them. Come up with your own designs. I know that designing your own quilt scares some of you, and some of you think, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. But you can. You just play with it. And if you believe nothing else that I tell you, believe this. If you like it, then it is a perfectly wonderful block. No one else has to like your quilts. No one else has to like your designs. No one, now listen to this. No one else has to like your color choices. I know, mind blown, right? Because everybody says, oh, well, I don't really care for those colors. Well, fine, don't make it in that color then. Make it in any color you like, because this is your quilt. Now, if you're making a quilt and you're going to give it to somebody and they say, could you please do this in purples or pinks or grays or blues and taupes or something like that, whatever, then of course you're going to want to maybe choose some fabrics, show them to the person, get their buy off on the colors. That's perfectly okay. But most of all, if you're making a quilt for yourself, or if you're just making a quilt that you love and then you want to gift it to someone you love, make it in the colors that you love too. Don't, I keep trying to put this point out there for you guys. Don't let anybody tell you that how you're doing your patchwork is wrong or not real. It is real. I can touch it. I can feel it. It's patched together. It's patchwork, right? I know, because I'm old enough to remember when we went from all hand piecing to sewing machine piecing. Boy, oh boy, did my grandmother, who taught me to quilt, did I get an earful. Now, in the end, I won her over and she said, honey, use whatever technique you want, because as long as you're quilting and you love it, that's what I find important. As long as I'm passing that on to you, that's what's important. Use the tools that you have. And my grandma really did believe in that. Use the tools you have. And so don't let anybody tell you that doing patchwork this way is incorrect or wrong, blah, 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 because it isn't. It's just the technique you choose to use, and that's perfectly fine. Now, for all of you that are new, I also have in the description links to 2 videos, my half square triangle video and my quarter square triangle video. The mama block of all patchwork segments, the half square triangle, and its cousin, the quarter square triangle. Now, in this one, that is a quarter square triangle right there. So you're going to get to use that. But those links are in there because those are going to walk you through tools, how to do this technique in general, so that when you start doing your other blocks, it's the same idea. And then I give you, on these 2 videos, you get the how-to segments there for those component pieces. So just remember, you want to use a wash-away stabilizer, the kind that you would use for freestanding lace, okay? Something that's opaque like this that will just wash away. Once you've completed the quilt, I like to do it block by block. That's, I did the big videos on that last year. And I found that if I'm working with a 12 by 12 or smaller block, I like doing them, washing it away block by block. And then once I press it out, let it dry and press it and all, then I can sew them all together. And then truly, no one will ever know how you pieced your block together. If you don't tell them, they won't know, because it's just fabric and thread, just like with any other technique. So, if they're wondering, you can tell them. There's no problem. It's like a friend of mine I have who wears a wig. When I had cancer many years ago, I had to wear a wig for a while. I lost my hair for a long time. Oddly enough, I didn't lose it directly after I had my surgery and all. I lost it like 2 years later. Then I had to wear wigs for like 13 years. And so I went through all of that, all of those feelings and emotions that you go through when you have to do that. Luckily, the cancer I had, I was well right away and was doing good. But the whole losing the hair thing is still, to me, very emotional. Well, I have a friend who is in her wig journey now, not due to cancer, but due to another medical condition. She's a good deal younger than me. She's only in her 30s. And so I was in my late 40s, almost in my 50s, when I had to wear my wig there for a while, before my hair just miraculously grew back. It was like a miracle. One day my husband just looked at me and said, you could go dry your hair. You've got a lot of hair now. And when I did, I was like, holy smokes, my hair's growing back. It was kind of an emotional moment. And then it just started growing and doing great and being healthy. So whatever time my body took to heal itself, that's what it needed for my hair to grow back. Anyway, enough of that. But she's in that journey now too, where, do I tell people I'm wearing a wig, Diana, or don't? I'm like, you don't have to tell anybody. If somebody says something to you, you can say, yeah, it's a wig if you want to. But you don't have to say anything. I'm like, you're beautiful. I don't care what your hair is. You're beautiful. And other people will think so too. And she wears a wig that's like her natural color and kind of her natural style. And so nobody would know, and you don't have to tell them. And that's the way it is with whatever piecing technique. I know that was a long way around the block, but you don't have to tell them how you've pieced your pieces together. Who cares? I mean, really what we're doing with this technique is we are asking our embroidery machine to do the work of our sewing machine. but it's taking care of all of the little stuff like the seaming size and all of that stuff. It's all built in for us. So anyway, just have fun. That's all there is. If you love quilting and you love if that's a creative outlook for you, do it, do it, do it, do it. Don't let anybody stop you. So now to grab your 2 files here, you need to go over to our website, sewuncommon.com, and they're over there, Blooming Star, Spinning Argyle Diamond. You'll also see the free Riley Blake pattern set over there that gives you the 16 blocks and the sashing. Grab that as well. That way you have now 19 blocks that you can make. And just like I said, maybe you put that in the center of this. Oh, there's a 20th block. Oh boy. And now that I see that, I'm thinking maybe this week I'll do that. And we'll talk about how we do that next week. Maybe that'll be what we do next week. I'm not sure yet, but that would be fun. Think of all the blocks you could make, all the stars you could make. And like I said, in the challenge that I give you in the little video clip, don't worry if it is a star or not. It doesn't have to be. Just how else could you use these 2 blocks together to create a whole new block? See, give that a try. All right, so that's where you can get your pattern sets. Now, let me just say this. Welcome to all of our new Quilt Lab, Sew Uncommon and Build a Quilt subscribers. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's so thrilling to have you here. I've gotten so many messages this week, and I will tell you, I know you guys are loving that Riley Blake set. I haven't gotten a lot of feedback from you. I got feedback from the ladies that asked me to do it, and I'm so glad you guys were pleased with it in the end. But I know a lot of you are doing it because I can't keep that set on my inventory page. I just have to, like this morning when I woke up, I had to redo the inventory for it twice. So I love that you guys love it. But make sure and grab your Quilt Lab sets too, so that you can even do that more, have even more to do that with. And remember, all of the Riley Blake blocks are only 10 by 10. That's the size Riley Blake did them in, and I did not vary from that or do anything additional. It was a free quilt along basically, and I just did what they did for you. Okay. Alrighty, everybody. So welcome to all of our new subscribers. Welcome to all of our returning subscribers. You guys know I love you all dearly. Now, here is the big reminder. I hope you've got it on your calendar. Wednesday workshop is coming back this week live. That's right. We are going to be back live. Wednesday workshops will now be live. They will be Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, obviously, the video will stay out there, so if you can't catch it live with us, you can join us and rewatch anytime you want. Ask your questions in the comment sections and all, and I will always get those and be able to answer them for you. But this Wednesday, June 12th, and I'm still not going to tell you what we're going to be doing, but I will tell you this. If you are new or if you have never done a full quilt with the Build a Quilt system, you want to join us for Wednesday workshop. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. That's all I'm going to tease for now. But that starts this Wednesday, and I'm getting so excited for it. In fact, I thought it was this last Wednesday, and then I remembered it wasn't. This last week was weird. We had no Wednesday workshop, and I had no Thursday Riley Blake day, and I was just like, I don't have all this extra to do. I mean, I had a lot of work to do, but I was just like, I don't have a Riley Blake pattern to do, and I don't have a Wednesday workshop to do. So, but this Wednesday, we start them up again. Wednesday workshop live. So put it on your calendar. Tell everybody in the fam or friends or whatever. Sorry, guys, from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday night. I'm with my Build a Quilt friends and doing cool stuff. Can't wait to see you guys then. Alrighty, everybody. If you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and do that. Just click the button right now. It literally takes a second to do that. We'd love to have you as part of the Sew Uncommon family. And please like and share the videos. That means the world to me. It really tells me what you guys like seeing. And it really helps other people find their way to our group as well. Okay? Because this is my channel, but it's your group. And everything I do, I want to do things that you guys really want to work on together. So a lot of the stuff we work on and do is because you guys have given me the inspiration, or you flat out asked me for it, just like with the Riley Blake Challenge. Okay, so please go ahead and do that. And just as soon as I'm done here and sign off, there will be the little demo on how you go about laying out and putting this new block, the Argyle Star, together. I hope you have fun with it. I hope to get some emails with your challenge patterns in them. Pictures, that's all you need to send me is a picture. But that information is in the mini video to come. All right, folks, until Wednesday workshop live at 6 p.m. Go Sew Life Beautiful. Bye for now. Okay, everybody, here we are at the cutting table because I want to go over with you the layout of our new, I guess we can call this the Argyle Star, since our Argyle block is in the center. But this is our combination between last month's block, the Blooming Star, and this month's block, the Spinning Argyle Diamonds. So we're using a single section of the Spinning Argyle Diamonds, and we are using the triangles and the outer corner pieces of the Blooming Star set. And I will show you how to get those patterns if you don't already have those Quilt Lab patterns. Each of those come in 3 sizes, but we are using the 10-inch size to create this week's block. And here is the color layout. Now, I had originally said in a short that we would use 5 colors, but I broke it down to 4 colors and it worked out a little bit better. And I loved how these colors turned out together. And this is the block before it's stitched together. I have it in that kind of blown out expanded mode so you can see it. So this right here, this is our Argyle piece. These are our 4 triangles from the Blooming Star, and these are our 4 corner units from the Blooming Star. So you'll need to get your cut sheets out for the triangles and the corners on the Blooming Star and the Argyle block on the Spinning Argyle Diamond. So let's talk about how this needs to go together. We really want to put this together kind of not in rows, but from the center outward. So we're going to start by taking our 2 double squares and sewing those together into a 4 patch. And then we're going to add our 4 corners, one side, one side, one side, one side, and then you'll have your Argyle piece. Then you'll take your 4 triangles and you'll add them in 1, 2, 3, 4. I always go top, bottom, side, side. You could do a round robin thing, but remember you'll get a little overlap each time. That's why I like to do them in the opposite directions. And then we'll come in and we will do the final fancy corners from the Blooming Star. And when we do that, we have our Argyle Star. And I created this star for us because you guys know that how much we all love the star blocks. And so although the Blooming Star is a star block, the Argyle Diamond is not a star block, but really what we're doing here, let's bring in our 2 original patterns. We're taking and using this one piece of the Spinning Argyle Diamond. Kind of fold that so you can see the single piece. We're taking one piece of that, and what we're really doing here is we are replacing the quarter square triangle in the Blooming Star with the Argyle Diamond and making this whole new block, this whole new star block. And I really love how this has turned out. In fact, I know I can get more of these bee cross stitch fabrics. I don't know about this one or this yellow, but I know I have a lot of this yellow. I would like to make
a few of these. I just think this turned out really good. I love how it turns out, and it will end up being another 10-inch block. So if you think about it, you have the 16 10-inch blocks from the Riley Blake Block Challenge, and then with these two Quilt Lab sets, you have two more, and now a third one from the combination of the two. So you're really starting to build a library that way of pieces that can be interchangeable. And of course, with the two Quilt Lab sets, you get 3 sizes that you could do here. But I decided to go ahead and make the 10-inch block. That way it went with everything else. So really, if we were doing our own block challenge, we would now have 1, 2, and 3 blocks in our own block challenge, all made from just these 2 block pattern sets. So here's a little challenge for you. Let's take this one step further. And I'm going to say, who or what other blocks would you create from a combination of these two? And if you have ideas or you come up with one, send me your picture and your idea of the finished block, and we'll create it here at Quilt Lab. And you will get credit for it as the designer of another block that we can make with these two. I can think of some other things that we can make, but I would love to see what you all would come up with for more of these. So that is the layout and how this goes together. Just think from the inside out. So you're making your Argyle diamond, you're adding your corners or your triangles, and then you're adding your corners, and then you have one finished block. All right, everybody, enjoy.